What's going on, guys? Bengal again here, and today we're going to be going over a roster. I asked Eagles to make this roster for me, and he did, so to a very good degree. There were some things that could not have been changed, and I will tell you here in a second. But make sure to check out Eagles. I'm going to link his channel in the description. He's been uploading some rebuilds, so you might want to check him out, give him some feedback, and yeah. Thanks again to Eagles for making this roster. But as you can tell from the title, it is what if every player was back on their original team. So the team that drafted them, in the case of being an undrafted free agent, it'd be the first team that picked them up. Now, we're going to be going over this, taking a look at it. You can download it if you'd like, the way I have. But Damian Williams, Michael Pierce, Brandon Brooks, Marcus Gilbert, Albert Wilson, Allen Hurns, Vince Beagle, Nate Solder, Rashawn Melvin, Josh Bellamy, Geronimo Allison, Devin Funchess, Marquise Lee, Matt Lacoste, Noah Spence, Artie Burns, Jawan James, and Andrew Billings are all not on their same teams that they were drafted by. A lot of those guys, I'm going to be honest, are pretty irrelevant to the entire video, so I'm not sure I'm going to be going through and trading all those guys back. Brandon Brooks, I would like to, because I'm going to be turning off injuries. Michael Pierce, for sure. But, you know, Vince Beagle, all due respect to Vince Beagle, Vince Beagle is not make or break for the video, so he's probably just not going to get moved. Apparently, there's also a glitch where Trent Brown, Matt Breida, Mike Davis, Aaron Lynch, Michael Thomas, and Alden Smith can't be signed to the Niners because of cap space. So I'm going to load into the franchise. We're going to turn off the salary cap, and then I'm going to get the 49ers to sign Trent Brown, Matt Breida, Mike Davis, Aaron Lynch, Michael Thomas, Alden Smith. Maybe not Aaron Lynch because he just retired in real life. And I know I say sign, but and those players are not free agents. Here's the thing, though, they're going to be. Even though Trent Brown's on the Raiders, Matt Breida's on the Dolphins, etc. We're going to head into franchise. We're going to go over the roster. Should be a lot of fun. I don't think you guys can hear it, but I'm in my apartment right now, clearly. And outside, are they doing karaoke? I'm hearing the worst singing of maybe all time. It is brutally bad. I wish I could get this for you guys. I might try. This is horrific. It sounds like a dying animal. Like, what is happening? That's what it sounds like. I went to go look out the window and it stopped. Thank God. I think my eardrums were about to rupture. And it's back again. What is... I don't want to, like, blow this out of proportion and exaggerate. You got to remember to load up the roster, by the way, before you load into a franchise. Otherwise, it won't be there. I don't want to exaggerate or anything, but it makes me not want to be alive anymore. That's how terrible it is. So I opened the door to my patio, so maybe that you guys could have heard that for a minute. Apologies if you could. Obviously, it's terrible. But yeah, as you can see, like, I think the most notable one in this screen so far is the Dolphins with Minkah Fitzpatrick, Jarvis Landry, Laramie Tunsil there. I mean, none of those players are still on those teams. Drew Brees back on the Chargers, I think, is a very interesting one. Calais Campbell back on the Cardinals. Tyrann Mathieu back on the Cardinals. With the Browns, you got Mitchell Schwartz back there. Chris Harris back on the Broncos. We have Stephon Gilmore, Robert Woods back on the Bills. The Bengals seem to be a lot better. Andrew Whitworth is back there. They're an 80 overall. My goodness. Greg Olsen back on the Bears. We're going to be going over all these rosters in depth. So let me go ahead and trade over like the last few guys, like with Trent Brown and Matt Breida and all those guys. So let's go ahead and pop into it. This guy on the mic outside doing karaoke is still at it and is still brutally bad. So this isn't a rebuild or anything, so I'm just trading over picks to get players so I can trade them back to their original team. So I've been kind of switching around teams and doing things like that to get these players on their correct team that couldn't have been done before loading into franchise when making the roster because of like cap reasons or this or that or roster size or so many different things. So you got to do this manually, but it's all right. To be fair, and again, I'm not even sure if you guys can hear it or not. This guy doesn't tire out. You got to give him credit. He's been making whatever that noise is for a while now. It's brutally bad, but he keeps going. So you got to give credit where credit's due. I guess he's like Frank Gore. It's like he hasn't really been good for a while now, But he's just not going to stop. So there you go. No, it's the worst thing I've ever heard. Like, I'm going to record this on my phone and try to get this into the video. You have to hear it. You have to. All right, that should be playing into the video like now, if I could figure out how to download it. What is this? What the fuck is this? Excuse the language, but like, Jesus Christ. That's a curse word's easier to listen to than whatever this is. So I guess we'll start with the Bears. Of course, they have Mitchell Trubisky. Jordan Howard is now back. That's interesting. Alshon Jeffrey. I think the most fun part about this is seeing players on their previous teams that you kind of just forgot they even played there. Like, yeah, Greg Olsen was drafted by the Bears. He was there for like a couple years. But this is a lifetime Panther, you know? Like, you don't ever think Greg Olsen and then Bears. You think Greg Olsen and Panthers. I mean, that's the clear and obvious thing there. Jordan Mills back on the Bears. Let's see what else is in here. Mario Addison. So a lot of new starters in here from each team. Obviously, no Khalil Mack anymore as he is on the Raiders. Nick Kwiatkowski's back. Leonard Floyd in there. Bryce Callahan. Of course, but that's, you know, he's only recently moved on to a different team. Adrian Amos back on the Bears. Check out the Bengals here. Maybe we won't go position by position. Just see some of the highest rated players on the team and some of the new guys that are back. Marvin Jones Jr. was on the Bengals. Why do I not remember that, like, at all? When was Marvin Jones on the Bengals? Clearly he was drafted by them. Was there for 4 years. Didn't really play at all, except for his final year there before signing with the Lions, where, you know, he actually started to break out a little bit. But Marvin Jones, he was on the Bengals. Andrew Whitworth is back. Kevin Zeitler's back. Jonathan Joseph, yeah, he's been in the league forever. 14 seasons. A lot of interesting names in here. I wonder why the overalls are so weird. I thought Jesse Bates was hired in the 79. A little bit strange, but I guess not. Stephon Gilmore, of course, back on the Bills to create the best cornerback pairing in the league in Tre'Davious White and Stephon Gilmore. Robert Woods is back. Nickel Roby-Coleman. Jason Peters, all back. Sammy Watkins is back in Buffalo. This is going to get repetitive with saying, you know, all these guys are back. It's very clear and obvious, but Ronald Darby, Marquise Goodwin, Marcel Darius. I mean, Nigel Bradham, it's interesting to see these guys here. It's just like, it's familiar, but you can tell something's just a little bit off. Broncos. We got Chris Harris Jr. We have Matt Paradis, Bradley Roby, Danny Trevathan, Derek Wolfe, Malik Jackson. I mean, like, every highest overall player, Wesley Woodyard, every highest overall player is just not even on the actual team in real life because, you know, everyone has changed. I guess the Broncos have been a team that have really moved guys around. Mitchell Schwartz, Alex Mack, a.k.a. Javon Mack. His actual first name is Javon, which is fun. Joe Hayden, Joe Schobert, Duke Johnson, Danny Shelton, Jabal Sheard, Pierre Desir, Taylor Gabriel, Jabril Peppers. It really just is everyone again. Deshaun Gibson, Josh Gordon, Buster Screen, Carl Nassib, Kwan Williams. For the Buccaneers, obviously no Tom Brady right now. Who's their quarterback going to be? I guess we'll find out. Quan Alexander is back. Aqib Talib. Adrian Claiborne. Already know about Rojo. He's there in real life. Adam Humphries. Jameis Winston is going to be their quarterback. Yeah, that makes sense. Didn't know that he'd be their highest overall, but yeah, I mean, again, that does make sense. Cardinals, Calais Campbell is back in Arizona playing defensive tackle. Tyrann Mathieu at corner. Tony Jefferson with the Cardinals. John Brown. David Johnson, he's only recently changed. Marcus Golden, Alex Okafor, Chase Edmonds, Bobby Massey. Marcus Gilbert should be on the Steelers, but I didn't figure he would make too much of an impact. Chargers, we got Drew Brees. This is one of the biggest ones of the entire video. Drew Brees being back on the Chargers. So that is quite fun. Anyone else major on this team? I mean, Melvin Gordon is back. Tyrell Williams. DJ Fluker, I think, was drafted by the Chargers. Jason Verrett. He would have been so good if not for injuries, man. Another one of those just unfortunate what-if scenarios where we'll never really know how good he could have been. But he was always really solid when he was healthy, but it was so rare that he was actually healthy. Rodney Hudson on the Chiefs. Marcus Peters, Justin Houston. I mean, Justin Houston's had such a strange career where it's like, I don't know, man. He was just on the Chiefs and so good for so long that it's hard to picture him anywhere else. D Ford back. Mitch Morse. Brandon Carr. Dontari Poe. Eric Berry is another fun one. Chris Conley for the Colts. We have, no one too major, honestly, like Jerry Hughes, Austin Blythe, Antoine Bethea, super old, Henry Anderson. But, like, no one that major, honestly. The Colts team sucks in this make-believe land. I guess it doesn't suck. It's just not particularly good. Watch them go undefeated in sim or something like that, because we will be simulating a season. Who else is back on the Cowboys? Byron Jones. He's only recently left. Gerald McCoy should be on the Bucks. That's one I will change. All right, setting Gerald McCoy back to the Bucks. So when we were going over the Bucks, just picture Gerald McCoy there now. I had a list of guys I had to trade back over from Eagles, and I guess he forgot about Gerald McCoy. But that's fine. We got him there now. No big deal. As we go back to the Cowboys, looking for other guys. Cole Beasley, of course, would be back. Greg the Leg, I guess, was a Cowboy first. Danny Amendola. I mean, Ronald Leary. No, I mean, not a ton of anyone who's, like, super important. Like, I see some more guys in here, like, Andrew Sendejo and others. But, I mean, no one particularly important. Of course, with this Dolphins team, this is the team I'm controlling, a lot of guys are back. Minkah Fitzpatrick, Jarvis Landry, Laramie Tunsil, the top 3 guys. Olivier Vernon, Kenyon Drake, Lamar Miller. So many guys are just completely gone. Where's Mike Pouncey now? I completely forgot what he's up to. Okay, so he is still on the Chargers. I didn't know if he got moved or opted out or what, but yep. Ryan Tannehill, of course, back. A little quarterback controversy in Miami, maybe. No, it's going to be Ryan Tannehill. So sucks to be Tua right around now. Raekwon McMillan just got traded in real life, which is very interesting because he's a good player. I like him. But he's now on the Raiders. So their linebacking core went from 0 to hero in a hurry. Raekwon McMillan, Nick Witkowski, Corey Littleton. Pretty good linebacking core, if I'm honest. Ted Ginn Jr., what a bust he was for the Dolphins. Hate to say it. He turned his career around, but he was so bad for them. For the Eagles, Deion Jordan, another huge bust. Brandon Brooks. Why is he on the Eagles? I meant to trade him to the Texans. All right, Brandon Brooks back on the Texans. There we go. So back to the Eagles here. Who do we have? I mean, they've pretty much retained all their top guys. Jordan Poyer, Raheem Mostert. D-Jax is back in real life, so he kind of just ended up going back to the team that drafted him. Alejandro Villanueva. We have Trey Burton, Michael Kendricks, Nelson Aguilar, brutally bad. Dion Lewis, Jordan Hicks. No one that major on this team. Shady McCoy. This would have been cool a few years ago. Sidney Jones got cut in real life. He's another guy who I think is really solid. Who's just been plagued by injuries his career. It's so, he's still so young. And he was just such a good player at Washington that it sucks that he hasn't been able to do anything in the NFL. It doesn't suck because I'm a Giants fan. But he was a player I liked quite a bit coming out. It's kind of a shame he went to the Eagles, and then even so, you don't ever want to see anybody get injured, whether you like the team or not. But, yeah, I mean, hopefully Sidney Jones, and he will get another chance, but hopefully he makes the most of that chance and is actually great and stays healthy. Austin Hooper back in the Falcons. We know the Browns signed him to a big deal. Devontae Freeman, Desmond Trufant, Tevin Coleman. This team could be a lot better. Brian Poole. So there are a lot of guys in here that make this Falcons team, I would say, definitely competitive. J.D. McKissick, Chris Thompson. A lot of running backs here for the Falcons. Corey Peters in there as well. Interesting. I mean, this team could be competitive. Who knows? I'm trying to decide which team's going to be the best. And it's going to be the team that drafts the best in real life. I mean, the 49ers, I'm sure, are going to be quite good. Although, I don't know who their quarterback's going to be. Alex Smith, I guess, probably. Trent Brown is back. DeForest Buckner is back. You know, of course, the 49ers traded him to the Colts and drafted Javon Kinlaw with that pick. So just a cheaper defensive tackle. Delaney Walker, Jimmy Ward, I think, is still there in real life. Carlos Hyde is back. Frank Gore, of course, is back. We talked about him a minute ago. But nobody too major, honestly, for the 49ers. Mike Davis, but, like, you know, Reuben Foster, but there's not much there. For the Giants, I mean, this is a given. You got Odell Beckham Jr. back. And as a Giants fan, and you guys probably already know my opinion on this already, never should have been traded. Never should have been. There's just so much New York media idiots blowing it out of the water. Oh, he's a cancer to the team. He was just competitive about winning and went about it the wrong way sometimes with some hissy fits, but I don't think he ever did anything that was super detrimental to the team. He signed a 5-year deal so the Giants could take all that dead cap and trade him and then have a whole receiver. Didn't even recoup a ton of value. But it is what it is. That's done and done. Linval Joseph, another player the Giants just didn't want to bring back in free agency. So he went to the Vikings and really, really was great. Phillip Rivers. This is an interesting one because, yeah, the Giants drafted Phillip Rivers, and then there was that draft day trade where Eli Manning went to the Giants. Phillip Rivers went to the Chargers. So Phillip Rivers is going to be the Giants' starting quarterback here. Cameron Wake was not drafted by the Giants. He was an undrafted rookie free agent that signed with the Giants, didn't do anything, went to the CFL, dominated, then came back with the Dolphins, and was really, really good for a long time. Cameron Wake, one of the most underrated players of the 2010s, probably. I think you can say that without question. Really, really good player. Landon Collins back. JPP is back. Weston Richburg is back. This Giants team could be competitive as well. Prince Amukamara is in there. Eli Apple. I mean, Eric Flowers is going to be on this team as well. But yeah, that Giants team isn't too good, but just a lot of players are back. Jalen Ramsey back on the Jags. Allen Robinson back on the Jags. Yannick Ngakoue, of course, just got traded, but he's back. Leonard Fournette just got cut, but he's back. Anyone else who's big? Dante Fowler Jr., Mercedes Lewis, I guess. I mean, no one like super important. Ronnie Harrison just got traded in real life, but he's back. Tyson Aluwalu. No one major. Alan Lazard I saw as well. For the Jets, Jamal Adams just got traded, but he's back. Demario Davis is back and better than ever. Damon Harrison Sr. is back. Robbie Anderson's back. Sheldon Richardson's back. Damn, all their top players are all gone. If you know that they were on the team that drafted them. Brian Winters, a little bit better in this roster than he is in, I think, real life. I don't think he's that highly rated. Willie Snead is in there. Quincy Enunwa is still on the team, but he's actually going to be healthy. For the Lions, Darius Slay is back. Kyle Van Noy and Ndamukong Suh. Eric Ebron. Quandre Diggs. I mean, there are some highly rated players on this team as well. Tahir Whitehead. Laken Tomlinson. Wasn't he? Why do I thought he was drafted by the 49ers. Am I wrong on that? Maybe. I probably am. No, he's on the 49ers. Okay. My mistake. He was drafted by the Lions. First round pick. Still unbelievable to me. I think I talked about that in the video not too long ago. He's like a very easy player for me to name because I can't think of any like Duke players in the NFL besides Daniel Jones, let alone a guard. Just one of those things I remember. I'm pretty good with college association for like most players in the league. Maybe not most, but a lot of players. I can't name everybody clearly, but I can name quite a few. For the Packers, we have, I don't know, I mean, nobody yet. Casey Hayward is probably the biggest one. Brian Bulaga, Micah Hyde. They've got some big guys coming back. Demarius Randall, who I also think just got cut in real life. Lawrence Guy. Got Clay Matthews Jr., or the third, not even junior. Clay Matthews the third. J.C. Treader in there. Devin Funchess. Weird. Haha Clinton Dix. Randall Cobb. Another guy who's only recently gone. Corey Lindsley. Tremont Williams, Morgan Burnett. Some of these guys still on the team. Like Corey Lindsley never left. But, you know, it's just, you know, it's fun to see these teams. Panthers. We got, you know, nobody as far as I can tell. Andrew Norwell. So he's one. Trey Turner is one. Trey Boston has moved all over. James Bradbury's back. Thomas Davis, I think, is going somewhere else now. I can't remember. Was he picked up by the Chargers? Maybe that's not it. I almost wanted to say like the Saints for a minute too. No, it was the Chargers, and now he's on football team now. He's on a Washington football team. Good for him. Cam Newton's back. Josh Norman is back. Darryl Worley. Is Demir Bird there in real life? I don't know. Chandler Jones back on the Patriots is their highest overall player. The Patriots are looking real good. Chandler Jones, Gronk, Tom Brady, Logan Ryan, Trey Flowers is big, I would say. Jamie Collins, Jimmy Garoppolo back. Not that he'll play much of an impact at all. You know, there are definitely some good players on this team. Kenny Moore, I think, is great for the Colts now. Malcolm Butler, Marquise Lee should be on the Jags, but again, he won't play much of an impact, so it doesn't really matter. Crayvon LeBlanc. For the Raiders, we got Khalil Mack, Amari Cooper, Latavius Murray. Anyone else who's big? Carl Joseph. I don't even know what he's up to nowadays. Where did he end up? For the Browns and then anywhere else? Just on the Browns now. Sometimes you question your own memory, so sometimes I got to double check some of these things. But yeah, he's on the Browns now for this year, and hasn't played for anybody else other than the Raiders for his career. For the Rams, we got the bully, Richie Incognito. Todd Gurley is back. Michael Brockers is like, I'm going to the Ravens, and he's like, just kidding, and then has never left the Rams. Robert Quinn. Roger Saffold is in there. LaMarcus Joyner. Corey Littleton's back. He only recently left. The Jack Rabbit, Janoris Jenkins. He's on the Saints in real life, too. I got to get used to that. Rodney McLeod. Who did he lay out? Was it Emmanuel Sanders? He has one of the hardest hits I've ever seen. It was a clean hit as well. It was like shoulder to chest down the right sideline on a streak. I think it was Emmanuel Sanders. Clocks him. It was an unreal hit. Full speed. It was clean, but flag was thrown. He roughed him up. Ryan Fitzpatrick on the Rams. For the Ravens, we have Michael Pierce. We know his back to Darius Smith. Brandon Williams in there. Kyle Juszczyk. CJ Mosley. Darren Waller. Jimmy Smith. Ryan Jensen. John Simon. Hollywood Brown is there in real life too. T. Sizzle. Nick Boyle's still there. Pernell McPhee. Timmy Jernigan. Kalichi Osemele. So definitely some good players on the Ravens as well. For football team, we got Trent Williams back, even though he's only recently gone. Matt Ioannidis, which is a very tough name for me to spell. I feel like I misspell that every single time. Kendall Fuller is back in real life, but like he went somewhere else and was drafted by them. He went to the Chiefs briefly. And then in Dolphins franchise, we picked him up. If you guys watched Dolphins franchise on my channel last year. Preston Smith is back. Jordan Reed, if he could ever stay healthy. Kirk Cousins. We got Jamison Crowder. Darius Geis is Darius. Yikes. We should probably cut him. But I guess he'll stay. Jesus. Trent Murphy was in there. Bashad Breeland. For the Saints, we have anyone major? Akeem Hicks is probably the biggest one. Malcolm Jenkins is back in real life, but he was there previously as well, as we know. Who else is in here? Brandon Cooks, even though he's moved all over. Kenny Stills. Jimmy Graham. Kenny Vaccaro, Hook'em Horns, Texas legend. Al Woods. Nobody too major. Todd Davis. For the Seahawks, we got B. Wags. Of course, he's already there. Richard Sherman is back in Seattle. Earl Thomas is back in Seattle, reassembling the Legion of Boom. Golden Tate is back. Frank Clark. Who else is in here? Paul Richardson. Darren Fells. I think Poona Ford is somewhere else now as well. I think he's on the Colts maybe. Could be mistaken about that. Not 100% sure. For the Steelers, we have Le'Veon Bell is a big one. Emmanuel Sanders is a big one, I would say. We got, let's see, Javon Hargrave, but he's only, again, recently gone. All right, I just yawned like 5 times in a row, even during this video. I'm not even tired. I apologize for that. I'm into the video, man. I'm not bored of it. Steve McClendon. I'm not even tired. You guys ever yawn when you're not tired? What's that about? I don't like it. Artie Burns back. More like Artie gets burned. Artie bust. DeAndre Hopkins back on the Texans, even though he's only recently gone as well. Brandon Brooks. Kareem Jackson. Even though he was like not particularly good for most of his career with the Texans. Dwayne Brown. DJ Reader. AJ Boye. We got... Who else in here? Ben Jones. Brooks Reed. DJ Swearinger. It'll be interesting to see what Ross Blacklock does this year. He's in a pretty good situation with J.J. Watt and Charles Omenihu, who honestly seems a little bit low-rated for how good he is. Why is he only a 72 overall? Charles Omenihu is very good. I'm upset. And that's not Texas bias, all right? He was really good last year. So I don't want to hear it. Christian Covington's back. Titans, we got Jared Cook, Jason McCourty, Avery Williamson, Jarrell Casey, even though, again, he's only recently gone. Nobody major. Jack Conklin could help this team out a little bit. Not sure what Antoine Woods or Tajay Sharp would do. But, that's not a great team. And the last team we have is the Vikings. Stephon Diggs, even though he's only recently gone. Justin Coleman, Anthony Harris is still there. We have Adrian Peterson, my favorite player of all time. We got the jersey behind me. I hope I pointed the right way. Trey Waynes, Jerick McKinnon, if you could ever say healthy. Mackenzie Alexander, even though he's only recently gone as well. Donald Penn, Cordero Patterson, who's got superstar development for some reason. Xavier Rhodes are open always. He's terrible now. Jarius Wright. But yeah, those are all the teams. So I guess let's go ahead and simulate to the playoffs and see who's in the playoffs. So this Dolphins team would not make the playoffs, although I'm used to having that happen to me whenever I control a team. We'll check out the standings as the Jets won the division at 8-8. AFC North, the Browns went 14-2. All it is playbook, man, I swear. The Browns are just so good in sim. The Ravens won 12-4. Steelers 8-8. Bengals 5-11. AFC South, we have the Texans going 11-5. Titans 8-8. Jags 6-10, and the Colts went 5-11. AFC East, we already know the Jets won. Dolphins 2. Bills 3. Patriots 4. AFC West, the Chargers with Drew Brees went 11-4 and 1. Chiefs went 10-6. Raiders 7-9. Broncos a lowly 3-13. NFC North, Packers 13-3. Lions 8-8. Bears 7-9. Vikings 6-10. NFC South, the Saints went 13-2 and 1. So there's the other tie. Buccaneers 8-8. Panthers 8-8. Falcons 6-10. NFC East, Cowboys won at 10-6. Giants went 9-7, made the playoffs. Eagles 6-10, and then football team only 5-11. Their city's Landover. The Landover football team. NFC West, we got the Seahawks going 10-6. 9-6 for the Rams and 1. I keep not seeing the tie, so it's always so delayed, but obviously 9-6 is not a record that adds up to 16 games. 5-11 for the Cardinals, and then 4-12 for the 49ers. Brutal record for them. So, of course, the Browns, with the best playbook in the game, are going to do the best. So I guess we'll check out the playoff matchups here and see what we got cooking. Wild card's going to be Ravens, Jets, Chiefs, Texans, Titans, Chargers, Rams, Cowboys, Giants, Seahawks, Buccaneers, Packers. So we're going to simulate through the playoffs and just see how it goes. And let's check out the stats before we do so. See if anyone had a majorly awesome game with their new team. Ryan Tannehill, new Bucks QB. New Bucks, what am I talking about? New Dolphins QB, did pretty well. Matt Ryan, There's Drew Brees in there. Jacoby Brissett was the Saints QB. Oh, my Lord. 48 touchdowns to 10 picks. Saints playbook is OP, clearly, because Jacoby Brissett is up to a 75 overall after that year. My Lord. Saints playbook is ridiculous, clearly. Case Keenum was the Colts starting QB. Oh, my goodness. Kirk Cousins, not really a great year. Phillip Rivers, not really a great year. For rushing, we see Zeke in there. I want to see some new guys. Who are some new guys? Todd Gurley back on the Rams. When I say new guys, I mean players who were on their previous team. Darius, terrible person, Geis, that's his nickname. Leonard Fournette back on the Jags. Gus the Bus Edwards. Nothing major in there. Carlos Hyde. Receiving, Mike Williams led the league in receiving yards. Not touchdowns, though. Willie Snead had 16 touchdowns. How ridiculous. Dude, Madden Sim is so awful. It's so bad. It's just the absolute worst. Like, Demir Bird shouldn't be doing anywhere close to that. He just should not be. Like, what are those numbers, man? Greg Olsen had 98 catches for almost 1,200 yards and 11 touchdowns. I'm going to freak out. How does Julio Jones have fewer catches and fewer yards than 38-year-old Greg Olsen? He's 36. Oh, my goodness. Blocking doesn't matter. Looks like Laramie Tunsil was great, though. Raekwon McMillan was very good. Sacks, we have 18 from Aaron Donald, but Chandler Jones back on the Patriots going off. We get Jabal Sheard back on the Browns going off. Matt Judon had a very good year. Brooks Reed had 9 sacks. Interceptions, 5 for Jordan Whitehead, led the league. Unreal. Unreal, some of these sim stats, man. It's funny to see it. I usually don't see the whole league, but it is funny. I mean, that's the only thing you can say about it. So I guess let's see who matches up in the Super Bowl. We'll see that in the top left. It's going to be Seahawks and Ravens. I mean, that could potentially happen this year. That'd be a very fun matchup. We're going to simulate that and see who wins. I'm going to say the Ravens probably win. Don't know for sure, but it looks like they did. Yeah, 31-16. Sometimes it's flip-flop. That's why I wasn't knowing for sure. But yeah, it looked like the Ravens are Super Bowl champions, as they just dominated in the Super Bowl. 31-16 was the final. But that is going to do it for what if every player went back to the team that drafted them. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next one. Take it easy.